Imagine, if you will, living on less than $1.90 a day. Sounds impossible, right? Yet, as of 2021, nearly 9.2% of the world's population finds themselves in this dire situation. Across the globe, poverty's grip is unyielding, with developed countries like the United States not being immune. The wealth gap yawns wide, a stark contrast between the haves and the have-nots, with the chasm ever increasing. In the United States alone, close to 40 million people find themselves living below the poverty line. That's nearly 1 in 8 people, a startling statistic in one of the wealthiest nations on Earth. This disparity in wealth distribution and the escalating rates of poverty paint a bleak picture of the world we live in. The question that remains is, could there be a simple solution to this complex issue? Could universal basic income be the answer we're looking for? Universal basic income, or UBI, is a concept that has been gathering steam in recent years. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is this UBI thing? Well, at its core, universal basic income is a social policy that proposes providing a set income to all citizens of a country, regardless of their employment status. It's a financial safety net, if you will, ensuring that everyone has access to a basic level of income. Think of it as a floor on which everyone stands. The idea is that no one should fall below this floor, no matter their circumstances. It's a radical departure from traditional welfare systems, which often come with conditions and means testing. With UBI, there's no strings attached. Everyone gets the same, whether you're a CEO or a street cleaner. So where has this been tried? Well, there's a few places. The US state of Alaska has had a form of UBI in place since the 1980s, known as the Alaska Permanent Fund. This fund pays out an annual dividend to all residents, funded by the state's oil revenues. In 2019, the dividend was around $2,000 per person. A more recent example is Finland, which ran a 2-year trial of UBI from 2017 to 2018. 2,000 unemployed Finns were given a monthly income of €560 with no conditions attached. The results? Well, they're still being analysed, but initial findings suggest that it had a positive impact on well-being. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. While UBI is certainly a tantalising concept, it's not without its critics. There are valid concerns about its cost, its potential effects on work incentives, and the risk of inflation. And these are issues that need to be addressed if UBI is ever to become a mainstream policy. UBI seems like a promising solution to poverty, but it's not without its critics. As with any bold idea, the devil is in the details. But one thing's for sure, the conversation around universal basic income is only just getting started. Proponents of UBI argue that it provides a lifeline to those in need. In a world where the gap between the haves and the have-nots is ever widening, universal basic income can serve as a great equalizer. It's a tool that can drastically reduce poverty and income inequality. Imagine every citizen receiving a fixed income, irrespective of their social standing or employment status. This financial security could also stimulate economic growth. With more disposable income, people are likely to spend more, driving demand for goods and services, and in turn, supporting businesses and job creation. It's a virtuous cycle that could potentially kickstart a stagnant economy. Moreover, UBI can provide a safety net for those whose jobs are threatened by automation or other disruptive technologies, ensuring that no one is left behind in the race towards progress. While these benefits are compelling, it's essential to consider the potential challenges and drawbacks of UBI. Critics of UBI argue that it's not the panacea it's often made out to be. This perspective is not without its merits, as there are several potential challenges and drawbacks to universal basic income that demand our attention. One of the most prominent concerns is the economic feasibility of UBI. Is it truly affordable, or would it be a financial black hole, draining resources that could be used more effectively elsewhere? The cost of implementing UBI on a national scale is staggering, with estimates reaching into the trillions of dollars annually. Critics argue that this money could be better spent on targeted social programs, education and infrastructure, rather than a blanket payment to all citizens. Another concern is the potential for inflation. Some economists worry that by infusing the economy with a vast amount of money, The result could be an increase in prices. If everyone suddenly has more money to spend, businesses may raise their prices to capitalize on this increase in demand, effectively cancelling out the benefits of UBI. Possibly the most contentious issue is the argument that UBI could discourage work. If people are guaranteed an income regardless of whether they work or not, would this remove the incentive to seek employment? Critics suggest that UBI could create a disincentive to work, potentially leading to a significant decrease in labour force participation. On the other hand, proponents argue that UBI could free people to pursue meaningful work, unburdened by the fear of financial ruin. They suggest that people might choose to invest in education, start businesses, or engage in creative pursuits, ultimately contributing to the economy in ways that traditional employment might not allow. It's clear that the debate around universal basic income is complex, with strong arguments on both sides. The potential benefits of UBI are enticing, but the challenges cannot be ignored, so we've heard both sides of the argument, but what can we conclude? The debate around universal basic income, or UBI, is complex and multifaceted. Today we've delved into the stark reality of poverty, unpacked the concept of UBI, and explored the arguments both for and against it. On one hand, UBI presents a potential tool to alleviate poverty, providing an economic safety net and fostering a sense of security. It could also encourage entrepreneurship and creativity, as individuals would be less tied to jobs they don't enjoy. On the flip side, we also pondered over the potential drawbacks of UBI. These include concerns about feasibility, the risk of inflation, and the potential for decreased motivation to work. What's clear is that more research, discussion, and experimentation are needed to fully understand the implications of UBI. As we grapple with the issue of poverty, it's clear that innovative solutions like universal basic income deserve serious consideration. Don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking discussions.